Let's be real, your favorite team is in Cancun. I'm a Miami Heat fan, so trust me, I feel you. And since all our teams are in Cancun, it's either because 1, they just weren't good enough, or 2, your GM is Nico Harrison. So without further ado, let's break down what each team needs to do this summer to improve their roster and ideally bring home that sweet, sweet Larry O'Brien championship trophy. And we're starting with Cleveland. Cleveland, I'm going to tell you something you don't want to hear. It's in your best interest to get some sort of trade package including Darius Garland and Jarrett Allen to get yourself an actual superstar to pair with Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell. You have all the pieces you need to haul in a great superstar, and all you have to do is decide who you want out of the available players. Because let's just be honest, nobody is going to Cleveland in free agency. It's just not happening. So your best bet is making a trade. Personally, I think a trade for a guy like Zion while his stock is low and he has controversy around him makes a lot of sense. Zion, Mobley, Donovan Mitchell sounds like showtime to me. You could also say fuck it and include Mobley and trade for Giannis. That would be sensational. Boston Celtics, you gotta move either Drew Holiday and Sam Hauser or Kristaps Porzingis and Sam Hauser for contract reasons. As it stands currently, you're the most expensive team in NBA history, and with the new CBA, you have no choice. This is just not at all sustainable. And it was just a matter of time. You guys had the league on lock the last 2 years. If it had not been for Tatum's injury, you guys would have probably went back to back. New York. New York has to get a deeper bench and work on a new offense this summer. We saw this year that New York can really go far with the Coach Thibodeau style heavy minute strategy. There are just too many games where they put themselves in situations where they have to fight and claw their way back into the game from a 20-point plus deficit. If they upgrade some of the role players, trust them to produce, and make the offense a little less Jalen Brunson heavy, I think a lot of these really ugly, hard to watch moments wouldn't happen so often. Milwaukee Bucks. Move Giannis and Dame if possible. Spoiler alert, it's not at all possible to move Dame Lillard. He's now a 34-year-old undersized guard who can't play a whole lot of defense, and his offensive abilities don't necessarily make up for his lack of defense like during his Portland days anymore. Also, he tore his Achilles, so with all of these factors combined, a team would have to be out of their mind to accept a trade including Dame.
Make sure to subscribe and hit that like button below, because if you don't, I'm gonna personally make sure that Nico Harrison is your next GM. And trust me, nobody wants that.
Detroit Pistons. Best case scenario for the Pistons is they acquire a big piece in free agency. But if not, honestly, just keep developing what you've got. You're in a great place. If there was a most improved team award, you guys got it, man. Last year, you were dead last in the East. This season, you made the playoffs and genuinely almost beat the Knicks, who made it to the conference finals. Every game was decided by 1 or 2 possessions in that series, so you guys should be really optimistic about what's to come. The Orlando Magic. Point guard, point guard, point guard, point guard, and continue to develop your young core. If it was me, I'd be willing to even overpay a guy like James Harden a little to guarantee another team doesn't snag him. I truly believe having a high IQ guard who can pass, see the court well, and shoot the three is going to be crucial in the development of Bankero and Wagner. You're sort of entering a dangerous territory because this is usually a point where you make sure the young talent at least feels like the team is competitive-ish. In Bankero's 3 years in the NBA, they were the 13th seed his rookie year, then they got a lot better and were the 5th seed just the next year, but then got bounced out in the first round by Donovan Mitchell and the Cleveland Cavaliers. And this year they were the 7th seed and played against a healthy Boston Celtics team that beat their ass 4-1. And when you've only lost your whole career, eventually you just get used to it. And that's the last thing Orlando wants. They are tired of tanking and being looked at as the laughingstock of the NBA that gave up Shaq and only being loved for their fire jerseys. The Miami Heat. For starters, we gotta move on from Pat Riley and Andy Ellisberg. The same way star players get washed, so do front office guys. Also, we got to move either Harrow or Bam. The last thing Heat fans want to see is the exact same starting 5 to start next season. I'm tired of watching Bam have a 30-point triple-double on 70% true shooting and then take 8 shots the next day. And with Jimmy gone now, I just want to feel proud to be a Heat fan again. Last few seasons were hard on us fans. We somehow didn't get Dame even though he was practically begging to play with us. The first half of this season was essentially Jimmy and Riley having a pissing match that we were glued to against our will, and spoiler alert, Jimmy won. And now we're in this awkward place where we actually have good players, but we're just not a good team. I'm a big advocate in just blowing it up at this point and sending both Bam and Harrow out of here. The Atlanta Hawks. For the love of God, find Trae Young some help. For whatever reason, he's still super loyal to Atlanta. I've never been to Atlanta, so I couldn't tell you why, but he seems to love it there. He was getting great production from DeAndre Hunter, and then the front office decided, you know what, let's trade him away for a bag of chips. Why? Because it would be funny. But hey, at least Dyson Daniels is good, and Jalen Johnson should be healthy by the start of the season. That's awesome. That's exciting. Chicago Bulls. At this point, you might be better off not taking. You tank and still somehow let the Dallas Mavericks get Cooper Flag. So yeah, that's just really tough. Go out there and at least grab an 8th seed, give the fans something to be happy about. Also, Josh Giddey is a restricted free agent, so there's that. You're probably going to end up matching what any other team throws at him. If I had to guess, based off his performance last season, you're probably going to end up paying the guy somewhere between $25 to $30 million annually, which I think is fair. He deserves it. I wish he was a better defender, but his offensive abilities speak for itself. The Toronto Raptors. You've got yourself a super young and exciting team. For those of you watching that aren't Canadian, it's easy to forget because it was such a random trade, but the Pelicans traded Brandon Ingram to the Raptors. The Raptors and him also agreed to a 3-year, $120 million contract extension with a player option in the 2027-28 season. The starting lineup will probably look something like Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, and Jacob Poto. Looks like a solid squad to me. If I'm you guys, see how it plays out at least until All-Star break and move on from there. This is by far your best team since their championship run with Kawhi Leonard, so this is dope. Brooklyn Nets, ship everybody out. Restart your rebuild. I can't believe I'm saying this. Ship everybody out and restart your rebuild. You know how bad you have to have to restart your rebuild? When you actually got good players too out of the rebuild. But you're embarrassing. At this point, you're embarrassing. Nobody likes you. Not even a fun team to watch. Not even a fun team to pick on. Like, I enjoy picking on the Pacers. I don't even enjoy picking on you. Only interesting thing about you guys is Cam Thomas, and he looks like he hates it there. So yeah, Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers need to pray. Like seriously, all you can do is pray at this point. Embiid has no knees. Paul George had what has easily been the worst season of his career, and Maxey's just out there by himself half the time. You've got to keep Maxey because he's the only positive thing you have going on right now. And you can't move either Paul George or Joel Embiid since PG's on a terrible contract, and Joel Embiid is so damn injury prone that he doesn't have any real value. Knowing Adam Silver in this current NBA, the Lakers would probably manage to get him and give you Rui Hachimura in return. Good luck, Philly. At least your football team's good. You've got something. The Charlotte Hornets. This might sound crazy to you, but the move here is probably to just trade LaMelo Ball and maybe build around Brandon Miller. I recognize that LaMelo never did have a fair chance to begin with, but with all the talk about him not contributing to winning, I've got to say, watching him play is a little unusual. I might agree with this idea. He's undeniably talented, but I just don't know if I want LaMelo Ball calling the shots and making decisions down the stretch of playoff games. I'm also not yet sure he can take such a sorry team to the playoffs to begin with. And we've now seen Cade Cunningham and his team grow into real threats. The Pistons were probably equally as bad, if not worse, the last couple of years. And reality check, LaMelo is Cade Sr. He's been in the league a year longer than him. It's about time he wakes up and puts his team on his back the way that Cade Cunningham has. And I saved the worst for last, the Washington Wizards. I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Washington Wizards are somehow in an even worse situation than the Charlotte Hornets. I have to say this. Wizards, stop tanking. Stop tanking. Stop the tanking. Oh yeah, did I mention that the Washington Wizards should stop tanking? Tanking isn't worth it anymore. This year's draft lottery should prove this more than any other time in league history. The NBA doesn't incentivize losers anymore, which I could argue is a good thing, and it's not that I think it's fair that the Mavericks robbed the Spurs of Cooper Flag, because nobody can really justify that, but also nobody can justify Wizard fans having to watch 48 minutes of no defense night in and night out either. I get that some players don't have what it takes to be a defensive maestro like Drew Holiday or Kawhi Leonard, but at some point it's just a matter of effort and wanting it more than the other guy. And I don't think the players aren't capable of that. I think it's the front office and coaching incentivizing them not to actually try hard and go out there, play heavy minutes, and really just try to win the game. And the reason for that is, like I said, it's the tank. The tanking culture has gotten so bad. And there's no team that represents that more than the Washington Wizards. And on that note, that's what I think about everything going on right now. But you let me know what you think your favorite team needs to do to get better in this offseason. Also, let me know who you think is going to win this year's NBA Finals between OKC and the Indiana Pacers. Down in the comments below. Also, feel free to check out my newsletter, Roby Report. If you enjoy the content and also enjoy reading, that's going to be a great place for you to also keep in touch with the NBA, NFL, UFC, and really every sport I enjoy. If there's any interest at all, I'm thinking I'll probably start posting 1 to 2 articles a week. So yeah, make sure to subscribe to the newsletter over there. I'll be putting the link to Roby Report in the description below. It's also attached to my social media links on my homepage. With that being said, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and turn those noties on. Matista signing out.